Well, good morning, everybody. This is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches, talking to you live from the little dog farm in Elgin, Illinois. What was once the, well, actually for a century, the largest watch manufacturer in the world. And today we're going to be talking balls, one of my favorite subjects. So let's get the quick wristwatch check out of the way. By the way, I will be broadcasting today along with my, hello there, Blue Shirt Buddha. I will be broadcasting today in the presence of a senile 17-year-old cat, Tanzil. As much as I like the ball in Elgin, Illinois, the real news of the day is hashtag KermitGate. Well, I'm going to pretend like I don't know what you're talking about, Tanzil, even though actually, but today is going to be a less than professional broadcast. As you people get extremely annoyed at my cat, you can super chat money for cat toys and cat food. If you super chat enough money, like I think $125 super chat will buy you a euthanasia. Oh, there it is, the dog trainer's black humor. You never owned a watch that Don Haynes sold you. You merely take care of it for the next generation. You are a muckraking troublemaker. It's a little hard for me to follow the, to follow the comments. And I'm gonna, because those of you who are watching this on YouTube live, you'll understand you're seeing live chat comments. Those of you who are watching it after it's broadcast, well, you won't see these unless you select the option to do so. I'll put you people down for a second. Because we are, well, here, let me see if I can show you. Let me turn the camera around. Okay. So here we are. We're firing up the Keurig. Now, what I have been buying lately is the San Francisco Bay French roast. Not bad. Clivey. Well, I can't do that. That cat is old and deaf, and he doesn't even know his name. Now, did a live stream go down? I'm back, Tan. Aren't I back? Can't you hear me now? If you people can hear me, let me know. It is quite bad, the internet in Elgin, Illinois. Somebody tell me if I'm broadcasting live or do I have to restart this booger? It tells me I'm live. I'm back. Okay, thank you guys. So yes, I was thanking Tanzil. The internet went down right at the moment when I was thanking you for the $5 for what will ultimately be a cat toy. Thank you, Blue Shirt Buddha. Okay, so by the way, I don't know. Let me turn this around. These things are not at all bad. But Tully's French roast. So you guys might try that. And I know this is going to become annoying. Eventually, I'm going to put them away. But for the moment, suck it up. Now, I'm going to reveal. You should have a good look at my mug. Since I don't have a Clyde Minotaur Wrangler mug, Mark shares his internet connection with Bill Sanders. No, but my cat shares dementia with Bill Sanders. This cat is the Bill Sanders of kitties. Insensible, thinks he knows more than he does. Really old. And dotty. The difference being, my cat still uses his litter box. Unlike, well, I'm gonna stop now. Okay. Tan, you're asking questions, but they're flashing past me so quick. Anyway, look, I want to show you guys here. This is the secret, man. Right here. Sweetened condensed milk. Any of you who have been to Thailand or Vietnam? Actually, I learned this trick in Spain years ago. I don't hate Bill. I'm actually the leader of the I've donated to the Depends Fund. How dare you say that I hate Bill? I think he and I are, at the end of the day, we're both Beauvais watch experts and YouTube gurus, right? So we have a lot in common. Okay. Clive says, you know, the guy I bought the Kermit from with Stunning Ball was a decent watch. You know, I get the coffee together and the cat shut up. We're going to talk about balls. It's a divisive topic, even worse, I think, than The trick, by the way, is getting the color correct. Once you see your color, you're good to go. This is still a little dark for my color. So I know we got to keep going, but we got to get carefuler and carefuler. I am a pro, although this is not carnation. This is Walmart's great value. The only problem with this stuff is you wind up sticky. You know, there's just no way around it. You wind up sticky. Don't look at the sink. It's the next day off. It's Labor Day, people. Diabetes. Actually, there's not that much sugar in it if you use as little as I do. I'm not using like a whole lot. There's that freaking cat. Now, if my furniture looks tattered, it is. I garbage picked this chair like 15 years ago. The problem, of course, being that it's super comfortable and we just can't seem to find another one. Here's the beauty that is the little dog farm today. Okay. Clyde live stream to discuss balls, kermits, and hydronauts. The general, I'm putting sweetened condensed milk in my coffee. How dare you? Okay. Let's turn this camera around. Okie dokie. Now we're going to go down to the Sanctum Sanctorum. Come on, kitty. Psst, psst, come with me. Either come with me or just yowl up there all by yourself, where I will hear you less. We're going downstairs. This is the broadcast room where I do my fireside chats. And this is the workout room where I rarely ever work out. Actually, you know, I try and lift my pitiful little. Here, I'll give you a better tour. Hang on. Where I lift my pitiful little weights. Yeah, storing junk there right now, and I need to get on that thing. Okay, I need to get on that thing like ASAP. I am too wearing pants, shorts, but nonetheless, because I'm getting fat, people. Okay. I'll tell you straight up, Goldberg is getting fat, and I need to do something about this. But this is the room. No, this is not the room where I chain up Vin Tingler when he visits. I have a crawl space for that, but you don't get to see it because the boys haven't been fed yet this morning. So, okay. Finally, here's the quick wristwatch check. Let's do a little bit of. We're having a lighting issue here. Let me get near the windows. The thing about this particular brand of watches, ball. The thing about balls, guys. You know, I really got to find a way to prop this up because it's going to get annoying. So, you know, Clive, if you're still listening, I really need you to teach me something. And that is, I need you to teach me how to use my laptop. I have balanced this on top of a desk lamp. Okay. I have balanced you on top of a desk lamp. Here we can have a better look at the ball. I don't know how to broadcast from Google Hangouts. I don't know how to, you know, I do know how to use iMovie. So Clive, I will trade you an editing session, how to use iMovie versus how to broadcast live on something other than the phone. So the thing about, I'm trying to read some of these comments. Tanzil, I think you upset Clive this morning. I was watching the Clive live stream, which gave me a complete hankering for coffee. My other ball is upstairs. Blue shirt, Buddha. Here's the thing about this brand. It's frowned upon, I think, by certain elements of society, and it's beloved by others in the watch collecting society. But isn't that the nature of every single brand out there? Now, there are a couple of, is everyone staring at the naked dude painting? I'm gonna move it, because I'm afraid some of you won't be listening to me. You'll be, you know, looking for the Jergens. There, we've substituted We've substituted a clown. I want full focus on me, people. Not what my body looked like last week before I got fat. God. Like, you know what? You want to know what the bane of my existence? I really like the movies. So, you know, we go to the movies fairly often. But it's that freaking buttered popcorn and the nachos and the pretzels and the cheese and the, you know, the 4 gallons of Coke, and now they give you free refills on all that crap. So this is just killing me. All right, I'm glad you guys are calmer now. Because remember, we are talking about balls. Now, the ball, would I accept a nude rendition of Archie Luxury in finger paint form? If so, Tanziel said he will have one commissioned for me, stat. Yes, of course I would. We're gonna talk about how to wind up your balls, how to touch your balls, how to clean your balls. We're gonna discuss all of that because I'm getting super chat, not super chat, I'm getting questions. I'm getting non-super chat, you know, in there. So we will discuss some of these matters soon. But like, okay, this is a divisive brand. Can you hear the cat? Like, you know, the cat is 17, a very long time. I'm extremely fond of that cat. He was a rescue. He's gotten senile, and I can't kill him. If I can close the door. The fucker, he wakes me up at, like, depends on the day, 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and he's wet food, wet food, wet food, wet food. It's like, fuck. Okay, so here's the thing about ball. It's divisive. There are a couple of brands out there which are kind of universally respected. Patek would be one of those. Tell me in the comments, live stream or otherwise, what is a universally respected brand other than Patek? Pretty ballsy getting the ball. True. You might say Rolex, that Rolex is a universally respected brand. And in fact, Rolex actually is the #1 recognized brand in the world. Vacheron is one. Rolex Tan says Rolex AP. The thing is that you find, if you go into the Rolex forums, you're going to find people bitching, or the watch forums, you'll find people bitching that Rolex is a boring brand and is an overhyped brand and is an annoying brand. Seiko, I like my Seikos, but oh my God, it's universally called by the collectors of decent watches. Seiko's called shitter. Now he's yowling out. Okay, come here, come here, come here. Get up in my lap. You know what? If he's in my lap, come on. If he's in my lap, he's likely to be quieter. Okay. FP Journe, I would agree. I think FP Journe and JLC, these are Breguet. Breguet is soft, fuckers. Anyway, my point. Annoyed with little tabs at the top. Here is my point about brands. Whatever brand you love, even if it's Rolex, there's somebody out there who's going to mock you and hate it, or tell you that the particular one that you have, like Yachtmaster 2. Do you know what the nickname is for the Yachtmaster 2? Put it up in the comments. I'm going to wait. Anybody know what the nickname is for the Yachtmaster 2? Particularly in all gold. You people know what it is? It's the douchebag watch. Okay? But yet, it's a Rolex. It's a super expensive $45,000 Rolex. Hi, everybody. People call it the douchebag watch. So, here's my point. Whatever watch brand that you love, somebody out there thinks it's stupid and hates it. There are so many collectors. I think the collectors of Seiko are more passionate than the collectors really of virtually any other brand out there. My opinion on Alpina, it's a shitter, okay? That's my opinion of Alpina. Why? Because I don't care for it. It's a low-level, Swiss-made brand. That being said, there are an awful lot of people who watch, right? So, I guess I'm a little sorry that you know who invented the word shitter in the first place was Archie Luxury. And I remember when he invented the word, it was a video several years ago, maybe 2-3 years ago. And he said, here, henceforth, cheap, crappy, mid-tier watches are going to be known as shitters. And then, of course, true to Archie form, he repeated that word like 50 times. And I remember thinking to myself, stop trying to make fetch happen. It is never going to happen. That is never going to catch on. 2 days later, I was saying it. and so is everybody else. And now we can't stop. It's like the guy who invented LSD killed himself because he felt bad and sorry that he ever invented that shit. You know, the guy who invented penicillin didn't kill himself, but the guy who invented LSD did. So I'm just saying, be careful what you invent, people. All right, so here's my point. Whatever you love, somebody else hates. Now, I came into watch collecting the way I've come into everything in my life, which is without a whole lot of knowledge, but with an entirely large opinion. Okay, so I have huge opinions, lots of opinions, and you know, my knowledge base has grown a lot in the last few years, but I started out without a lot of knowledge. So basically, what I'm trying to say is I have condemned all kinds of people's watches, and I have, you know, it's crappy, it's shit, until I fell in love with a couple of shitter brands. You know, Breitling. Breitling is one of those brands that people either love it or hate it. I'm a member of a Breitling group with about 20,000 members. And those 20,000 members can't seem to stop loving and, you know, loving their Breitlings. And I have 4 of them. I really should have 2 or 3. So if you're in the market for any Breitling, I might have 1 or 2 that I could part with. But that's not the topic of this video. I'll do a sales stream another day. What I want to talk about today is where Breitling fits, or where Ball fits in the scale of things. So I think that, you know, if we're going to take, Rolex is not the peak of horology, but if we're going to take, Tanzil saying no white dials after Labor Day. I'm not sure I have any white dials left. I have to think that through, but I don't think so. I have a champagne dial. Cat. He's purring, at least he's happy, which is better than him screaming. You know, if we have the Holy Trinity up here, Vacheron and AP and Patek Philippe here, and then we have Rolex here, we have Breitling here, Balls are somewhere, yeah, right around there in terms of status, quality, price, and so forth. And I recognize that. I think one of the things that really disturbs people about the Ball watch, there's really 2 points, I think. The first one would be the aesthetic, because that's the most obvious thing. Their Ball watches tend to be thick and chunky, and so they have very aggressive styling. So that's one thing. Secondly, I think, oh, Clivey, you're still here. Nice. I don't know, Clivey, did you hear me telling you that we have to do an exchange of services? Not legal, I haven't been arrested yet, but I'm going to teach you how to use iMovie, and you're going to teach me how to live stream on something other than a telephone propped up on a desk lamp. Although this is working, so I might go with this from now on. Where was I? I think the aesthetic troubles certain people, and so there's that. But also to the owned company. Now it's ironic because Ball is an American railroad pocket watch brand that's, I don't know, 150 years old, something like that. It started in the late or mid 1800s. Is actually an American brand by some dude from Ohio named Mr. Ball. I wonder if his first name was Richard. It wasn't, but can you imagine? And at any rate, so Mr. Ball started a watch company. As the railroad system grew in the United States, what happened was, you know, I got the dehumidifier running, and it's going to make a lot of noise. Let me turn it off. Okay, so you know, there was this famous train wreck because there was no railroad standard time. Everybody's watches were a little off, and 2 trains, you know, collided head on. And so Ball solved this problem with super accurate watches that had to run. The interesting thing is about the original Ball pocket watches for railroad use is they had to run better than chronometer spec. Better than chronometer spec today is what, +4, -6, something like that. If you know exact chronometer spec, stick it in the comments, but I think it's that. And it had to beat that, and not only that, but the The owners of those watches, the railroad guys who owned those watches, had to meet with a -4 +6. Yeah, so I was right about that. Thanks, Tam. Back in those days, you had to meet with a representative of Ball who would test your watch, and I think they did that every 2 weeks. Anyway, so super, highly known for accuracy. Now, eventually, came World War I. Pocket watch moved over to wristwatches. This was you really couldn't be fishing your pocket watch out of your out of your coat if you were an officer to time when everybody was supposed to go over the wall. So and pilots began to like tie them onto their pilots began to tie them onto their wrist. Just it was more functional at a time of war. So where are we today? I don't know what year this happened, but Ball, the American company, was sold to a consortium of Chinese owners, and they are based in Hong Kong. Now, Hong Kong used to be a free territory that had been colonized by Britain, but has now been sucked back into the Chinese system. I'm being asked how often I clean my balls, how often I service my balls. I don't know, but I sleep touching my balls. I can tell you that, or at least this one, which we'll talk about more about that in a minute. But so I think they receive a certain amount of prejudice due to the fact that they Chinese watch. But Marathon is a Canadian watch brand manufactured in Switzerland. Rolex, before Hans Wilsdorf moved all operations and corporation over to Switzerland, was an English corporation manufactured in Switzerland. And so Ball is a Chinese-owned brand manufactured in Switzerland. Okay, so it says Swiss made on this watch, and it's made in Switzerland. Now, I'm gonna refer to my peanut gallery to find out what is the percentage of Swiss made components and assembly that you need to have in order to print Swiss made, on your watch. I believe it's only 60%. That's what I think. Omega is a Swiss watch made in China, says the general, and I don't think that's correct. There are certain percentage of components that you can have made in some country other than Blue Shirt Buddha saying 60%. So there's a certain percentage of components you can have made and or assembled outside of Switzerland and still have that considered to be a Swiss watch. And I think that the percentage that you can have done outside Switzerland is 40%, as long as it's 60% of its value is derived within Switzerland. And I think they just changed that, right, to make it more liberal this way. So there seems to be some consensus about 3/5, 2/3, but I've heard 60-40. So I'm sorry, guys, I'm not good. I'm not wearing shoes. I don't know how to do fractions with my toes. No, Mousy, this is not interesting. Go away. So are there components here that are made in China? Probably. Omega, we know that a lot of Omega bracelet components are made in China, don't we? So the general says he just looked it up, and on what was it? On January 1st, 2017, it went from 50% to 60%. Oh, well, then they actually tightened it up. So, okay, hold on. Just mount. All right, hold on. This is going to take a minute, as you can see. It's a delicate operation. Okay. So I think this. I think that this takes a little bit of pipe for being Chinese owned, but it really doesn't matter who owns it. It matters more where it's manufactured. What are the tolerances? What are the manufacturing benefits? So first, what I'm going to tell you about at least the two balls that I own now. The bracelets are fantastic. Now this one has H links, so does the other one. It's held together with tiny little precision screws. These are smaller screws than in a lot of the watches. Smaller screws than in my Breitling, I would say. than in most of my Breitling bracelets. And Breitling makes phenomenal bracelets. These are a hair under Breitling quality, but boy, you know, not much. And actually, I guess to be fair, it depends on the style, you know, what you think. Because Breitling makes some, oh, there's tabs bothering me, hang on. Okay. The general, behave yourself, lest I ban your comments from this channel. Thank you, sir. I would miss you. Okay, so the thing about the bracelet is that it has a milled out clasp that is actually far better than what I have in any Rolex, the thickness of this. This is a double deployment pusher, so it's secure. My other ball has this giant railroad symbol square metal thing here, making it a giant clasp, which is unfortunate. You know, you kind of want to bang it on things, but this one is flush. Sort of like a president bracelet in Rolex, if you will. So it's not bothering me at all. I really like it a lot. The entire thing is satin finished, but there's these little beveled edges, which this will be all clearer in the review. There's these little satin center links, but the beveled edges are polished, so it catches the light. And the watch itself is completely satin, but the different directions. This grain runs this way. On the lugs, the grain runs that way. And so you get little variations in the look. You know, from that standpoint, I like it. The only thing that maybe concerns me a little bit right now is the weight of this thing. I had no idea what a monster it was when I ordered it. Smoke Eater is asking, where is the Sea Dweller 43 millimeter? And the answer is, I don't know. It could come in 2 weeks. It could come in 2 months. It could be much longer than that. I don't know. We'll see. This thing weighs out at 207 grams. Like 207 grams, which is that's a heavy watch. My Rolex James Cameron always felt really heavy to me, but I wore this for hours. And then, and this is 45 millimeter, and it wears smaller, I have to say. Because you know what? I want to say it's like 15 millimeters, maybe 16, but the James Cameron is like almost 18 millimeters, so it's like wearing, you know, it's like wearing a disc. Anyway, I put that James Cameron on, and it felt light, you know, compared to this thing. But it's real thick. This thing is not quite as thick, and somebody wants more cat. He's being quiet, thank God. He's purring in my lap. So there's just something about the wearability factor of this that I have to say I find it easier than the James Cameron. Now, obviously, if the building is on fire, God forbid, the first thing I grab is the cat. The second thing I grab is the James Cameron, and if this ball makes it, well, that's great. You know, I need to take out another link or another half link because, you know, I like my balls kind of loose. At my age, what can you do? But I don't need my ball hanging down to my knees. You know, do I? So I got to tighten this guy up a little bit. Oh, and that's something that bugs me. Here's a downside. This has no micro adjustments. You know, it has no dive. You know, it's good to 300 meters, but it has no you know, diving extension. So this particular one, no, it's not marijuana plants. It's what do you call it? You know, when you go, it's palm trees. It's a beach shirt, right? And surfboards. I don't know. I just forgot the word for surfboard. Boogie board, surfboard. Okay, so this guy is a diving world timer. And there's an inner disc, which is controlled by this crown. No, not that crown, this one. So we're gonna, and that's a screw down crown. You'll see there's a triangle up here. This is unidirectional because it's protected, unlike a diving watch. You know, it's not gonna get bumped and kill you. But it also has cities on there, and then there's a 24-hour disc, you know, in the middle, which rotates. So the essence of it is you have to pick what function you want this watch to be using at any given time. You can use it as a, I'm fumbling to get it back on. You can use it as a dive watch. You can use it as a world timer, and I love that. Plus, with this is just the regular crown, but with this crown, I can play with my fidget spinner, you know, which I really like. It has a massive sapphire crystal, which picks up thumbprints pretty easy, so I find myself constantly wiping it down. And I'm not going to do the review this week. If I were to do the review this week, I would just, like, you know, lick this thing and sniff it, and I would make love to it on camera the way you see Archie doing. And I don't want to do that. I want to live in it a couple of weeks so I can kind of pick out its flaws. I want to find out if that 207 grams of weight eventually begins to bother me. I weighed the James Cameron, and I don't remember exactly, but it was under 200. I think it was like 190 or something like that. So this thing is like significantly heavier than James Cameron. I'm not getting wrist fatigue from it. I don't know if that's because somebody says due to the ball accuracy on the ball was, you know, that's where that phrase developed. Interesting to know. Where was I? This wears easier, so it supports its weight better. It weighs more than the James Cameron, but so far I gotta say I think it's actually more, go back there. Oh, he's gonna stop. This is my life. And if I close the door, it's gonna get worse. Shush. Thanks to a bacon eater, I've been thinking about buying one BBGMT. I don't know, who's the bacon eater? What's a bacon eater? Hey. You know, I would yell at him, but he can't hear me. I gotta go get him. He's just sitting there outside this door with his back to me, yowling because he wants something. He doesn't even know what he wants. Come here. Hold on. Ugh, he's a mess, this cat. Okay. So it supports its weight really well. Now, hello, bacon eater. Yes, you are a bacon eater. Okay, well, I'm a bacon eater too. We were a funny kind of Jewish family. My grandfather would eat sausage, bacon, ham, but he would not eat a pork chop. And I asked him one time, why not? And he's like, pork chops is pork. Bacon is bacon, but pork chops is pork. I was like, oh my God. Me personally, I was raised up eating everything, including pork chops. So it wears easier than the James Cameron does. Now, we will see eventually, eventually the Sea Dweller 43 will show up, and I will be able to, you know, compare how it wears versus all my other very large, you know, giant watches. But the ball, I'm enjoying the ball. Accuracy-wise, so far, to me, it looks like it's a little fast, a smidgen fast. It's well within cost specs, and it's still breaking in. I just got it. It's really, and its movement was tested at the factory, but hardly, you know. Hello, Jeffrey. Its movement has, you know, I'm just breaking it in, and I will know by the end of today how accurate it is, but right now it looks to me like it is running maybe 2 seconds fast a day. And somebody said, sorry, I didn't pick up your name, it's a very long one, asked if I'm falling out of love with the James Cameron. It's a tough watch to wear, you know. So I'm not gonna sell it because I do like to wear it, but it's more, for me, it's more like an occasion watch now than it is an everyday, all day watch. So, yeah, we'll see. Maybe the Sea Dweller will be better for that, you know, I'm not sure. Okay, where were we? The accuracy. I think it's running 2 seconds fast per day. That's what I think. Maybe even a little bit, maybe more like 1.5 seconds, but maybe, let's call it, right now I'm gonna guess that it's running about 2 seconds fast per day. So we will see, you know, how that shakes out after it has been run for a week or two. I love a watch. I mean, no mechanical watch is 100% accurate, but I really love, I only have one other watch that its inaccuracy is that it runs fast. It's the Breitling Avenger 2 GMT. That runs a little fast. Actually worse than this one. And that's supposed to be a chronometer. So that one runs maybe 5-6 seconds fast a day. Still within cost specifications, but a little fat, but it makes me wonder if it's not magnetized. So I use the Watchville app. I made a video about the Watchville app. I mean, yeah, you can synchronize against an oscillator, or there's like a lot of ways to synchronize your watches, but the cheap and easy way is the Watchville app on in the App Store. But I love a watch that's a little fast because you can just stop it and start it without readjusting it. You don't have to mess with the date, you barely have to play with the crown, you don't have to play with the time, and you're not sitting there and waiting. If your watch is slow, it might take you 1 to 2 minutes to synchronize it, as Tim Masso would say, to a known reference time. Okay, so I love a watch. I wish they would all run a smidgen fast. All of my other watches run a smidgen slow. I wait until it's. That's another thing. What is the point, guys, where your OCD kicks in and you say, I've got to adjust this fucker? Like, I can't live with this anymore. There's days when if it's 5 seconds slow, I'm making the adjustment. There's days where it's 15 seconds. It just sort of depends, where I get triggered. But, these things do happen to me. Now, where the ball watches really shine and where the aesthetic, every ball watch is 2 watches. Every ball watch is really 2 watches. It's a watch by day, and it's an entirely different watch by night. So this watch is not offensive to my eyes by day, but you should see it at night. It's just utterly gorgeous. I'm almost certain that this is not going to get picked up by this camera in the dark. I will have a loom shot and loom video in the review when I do it. But if you would like to see a loom shot of this watch right now, you can do it by going to my Instagram, which is Chicago_dog_trainer. Okay? Why? Seriously? Seriously? I'll shut the door and see if that makes it better. Okay, you can go to my Instagram where you will see lots and lots of watch pictures, all mine. Pictures that I've taken. On Instagram, I post dogs, watches, food, travel. That's the kind of stuff that I put up there. Okay, so have a look at my Instagram. You'll see the loom shot of this ball. It's real recent because I just got this puppy. Chicago_dog_trainer. Okay, so have a look at that and you can see. It's a very large watch, but it wears smaller than it is, particularly because the inner dial, where the Arabics are, is what draws the attention. And that is it's a smaller inner dial. Okay. Somebody asked me, how's the loom? The loom is amazing. It's got tritium tubes in there, so a lot of you already know what that is, but I'm going to real quick explain what tritium tubes are for those of you who don't know. Tritium is a radioactive. Oh no, the cat doesn't want food. The cat has eaten. The cat is senile. Tritium is a radioactive gas, very low level of radiation. It's not going to hurt you. Particularly when they encapsulate it in tiny little, I did feed the cat, in tiny little glass tubes. Those tiny little glass tubes are painted inside with phosphorescent paint. The tritium reacts to the phosphorescent paint inside the little glass tubes, and it creates luminescence. And it is luminescing for years. There's a little controversy or disagreement in terms of how long it's going to last, whether it's 25 years is the life of tritium, or is it its half-life, 12 years. So we don't really know for sure. Thanks, General. 12.5 years shelf life. We don't really know. All we know is that Ball says if when your loom goes, they will have replacement options that they say will be reasonable. So we'll see. But the key thing is you don't need to charge this. So if I were lost, guys, in a Thailand cave, this thing would glow at least for 12.5 years. So they would find my bones, because like this would attract them to it. Here's the weird thing about tritium tubes. when you first go into a dark room and your eyes are, kind of like adjusting to now darkness, it doesn't look that bright. So when you go to bed and if you wear a watch, I sleep in a watch. So this has been my sleeping watch. We'll see if that keeps up. But when I snap off the lights, I can read the time immediately, but it doesn't seem that bright. For example, a Seiko turtle would like blow it out of the water right after being charged. And you sleep in a bed. I thought you would have slept in a coffin there, General. Okay, so it doesn't glow that bright, but what happens is Luma Bright or Seiko Chroma Bright or any of those lume paints, C3, Luminova, BGW9, all of those, as the night goes on, their luminescence lowers. Some of them very quickly, some of them slowly. This is steady, and what happens is as your eyes adjust to the light, you would think this is glowing brighter and brighter and brighter. It's not, it's just your eyes adjusting, but it gets to the point relatively quickly once your eyes are adjusted to the light where you can aim this at a wall and you see a pool of light on the wall. If you sleep with somebody, you want to, not shine this right in their face in the middle of the night because, it'd be enough to wake somebody up if they're a light sleeper, okay? So it starts out low, but the more your eyes adjust to the light, this thing just seems like it's charging up more and more and more, which is the exact opposite of lume paint. So really, really weird. You know how that works. Tell me in the comments if you can hear the cat annoying you from the other side of the, gotta flick up a notification. Tell me if the cat's annoying. I can't, I hear him, but I don't know if you guys can. If you need this much brightness, get a Casio. I have a G-Shock, isn't that? Casio makes G-Shock, right? And I have a G-Shock, and it has lumed hands. And then, of course, it has the button, woof, to light up a couple of LEDs. So, thanks, guys. You're hearing the cat, but he's not too annoying. That's a good thing. This is my life. That fucking cat, he will quiet down later, but he wakes me up like anywhere between 5 and 9 in the morning. My whole job is to change the litter box and feed that damn cat wet food. Oh, he's not suffering. He's deaf. Someone said he might be suffering. He's not. I've had the vet go over. You know what he's suffering from? Senility, right? He's the Bill Sanders of cats. Has a lot to say and he's not quite sure what he's talking about. I think I'm gonna rename him. Yes, it is funny that the dog trainer has cat. I've had cats all my life. Okay. So anyway, guys, listen, I'm running out of time here, but I wanted to let you know that Ball, I understand that it's not everybody's cup of tea. I can look at the Rolex range of watches, for example, and find something to like about not all, but almost all of their models. The same would be true of Patek Vacheron. It is decidedly not true of Breitling. There are some Breitlings I love and some that I think are atrocious. So, and Ball is in that category for me. There are some watches that Ball makes that I think, wow, that is a really nice looking watch and terrific value. We'll talk price in a second. And then there's others where I'm like, oh, that's gross. Like, who would wear that? So this is one of those brands that has love it or hate it appeal. I think even for people who overall like the brand. Okay. When am I have no plans for Hublot, although I might like it because, like they're big, but what I hate about Hublot is when they do screws around, their bezel, they don't line them up the way AP does. And that would just trigger me. That would drive me nuts. Actually, something about this that does trigger me is here's the front of the watch, here's the back of the watch. We'll talk about that case back, but the case back is upside down. So they just screwed it in until it stopped and it just orients, like wrong. That's the kind of thing that bugs me. So I try not to look at the back of this watch too much. So Ball is kind of a divisive brand. And then if you don't hate the brand within the brand, you're not going to like every watch. You'll have certain ones that appeal to you. We'll talk another time about their marketing strategy. They're all over the board. They are constantly doing, well, I'm going to just quick spill the beans now, what I think there. Ball makes, like it seems like dozens of new models a year. Well, not dozens, but like maybe a dozen. Most of them as internet special, pre-purchase specials. So I pre-ordered this watch. I just received it day before yesterday, I think it was. And you can buy, this is a diving world timer with an internal dive bezel and a world time function that's a proper self-adjusting world time. It's a proper world time. Not one of these junky manual ones like Seiko makes $100 world time. No, this is a proper world time with tritium tubes. Hang on, oops. And I want to say its MSRP is $2,300, and I think its pre-order price was $11.50. So its pre-order price was 50% off. And then there was a $50 delivery fee because they had to ship it from Switzerland. And they offered free engraving. Like if you wanted your name engraved on the back, you could have that done, or they gave you X number of letters. I don't like engraving. I didn't want to engrave my name on this, so I didn't do that. But I think that that's an incredible price. So by the time I was done, I paid $1,200 for this watch delivered. Didn't have to pay any customs. This watch, like if you buy a watch from out of the country for a couple $1,000s and you buy it on eBay and they ship it to you through UPS or whoever it was, you'll have to pay a little bit of, you'll have to pay, maybe $50, $100 in customs. I didn't have to pay anything. So I have $1,200 in this watch. A couple other features I forgot to mention are that it has a Faraday cage in it. It's got an iron cage in it. So I don't remember how anti-magnetic it is, but it's far more anti-magnetic than the average watch. Probably one of the reasons that it's heavy is it's got the Faraday cage in it, which is one of the reasons that it's a little bit thicker. Is good down to 300 meters. And I forget what their system is. I will look all this nonsense up when I do the review. But they have shock-proofed this thing to a much higher degree than the average watch. This can stand, I don't remember the amount of G-force, but it's like stupid. Like this can, I believe this watch can withstand more G-force than the human body, So if I go to the roller coaster, at Six Flags, I'm going to be vomiting, but my watch will be fine. If I get shot up in the space shuttle, at my age, I might disintegrate, but the watch theoretically should be fine. So is Ball a shitter? What is a shitter? I don't know. Like, I gotta say, I really don't like the Invicta brand. I really don't like the Squally brands. There's a couple brands that I really don't like, but there are people out there who just adore them and love them and collect them. There's people who buy watches off of, the Home Shopping Network. Jeff McMahon, the watch collector's watch collector, started off with the Home Shopping club, and then wound up converting everything over to Seiko. Now he's a lover of Seiko. And I have a couple Seikos, 1, 2, 3, I have 3, but I can't say I'm an intense lover of the brand. I just have, I have 2 turtles and a monster. So, I appreciate them for what they are at their price range. It's a $2 to a $500 watch that performs amazing for, for that kind of money. Forbin Colossus asked how I heard about Ball watch. If you just watch enough YouTube, you figure it out. Also, this particular one I saw on Facebook. Ball watch has a Facebook page where if you like it, you'll get notified for all their offers. And, I tell you, the hard part for me about this was ordering it in the beginning of March and then waiting till now to get it. You stalk it. You stalk the watch. You watch videos. Although this is the, what do they call this? This is the Ball Master Engineer 2 World Time Diver. This is a giant long name with a huge reference number, which when I do the review, I will tell you more about. But in reality, can you guys see this? It's got like Arabics on there. It's got the 12, 9, and the 6, the 3. Oh, I forgot to mention, it's got the date here and the day down here. So it's got the date at 3 and the day at 6. I just don't think it's all that visible. But I really, really like the fact that it has both the day and the date. Yes, you could anchor your watch with this Forbin. It's heavy. It's 205 grams, I think I said. Look, at the end of the day, I like this watch. There are people who like their Invicta. I think it's a much better watch than that. But who am I to say? At the end of the day, we like what we like. Um, John asks, any fear that I would fall out of love with it between ordering and receiving? Yes, that is a huge problem when you buy watches sight unseen. The other one is, I'm more likely to have a different problem, which is that I get so jacked up and spend so much time, energy, brain space, so much of my OCD will go into a particular watch that what can happen is I wear the living shit out of it for 2 weeks, and then I can't stand to look at it for 3 months, because like I'm just bored and over it. So, and that I'm actually going to do a video called "The One True Watch." Is there a cure? Is there a watch that cures the sickness? Is there an end game? Is there a checkmate watch? Is this it? Could it be that a lowly $1,200 ball is the checkmate watch? The one watch that makes me say I'm done, I'm cured of this, what Jeff McMahon calls, a sickness. Watch obsessiveness. Everybody's laughing at me in the live stream comments saying, no, there's no cure. The exit watch. Yes, I've often, I don't know who coined the term, but tell me who coined the term exit watch, because it's a great, yes, is this my exit watch? I think the consensus is no. And if experience proves me right, the answer is I agree. No, there's not. Right now, the pleasure centers in my brain are being tickled with dopamine and serotonin, and before long, this thing will fall by the wayside. I will throw down my toy, and I will want a different toy. That's the way this goes. Well, if you want a different toy, stick with me. I will be reviewing this one and others as time goes on. Thank you for joining me here on Mark Vlogs Watches. I gotta go do some work. It's Labor Day, but you wanna know what? Dogs, they gotta pee and eat and get trained. And so Labor Day is just another day at the kennel for me. However, I have to say, I love what I do. I'm passionate about it. I'm lucky enough to have a little bit of money that I can spend on watches. So thanks for joining me, guys. You're gonna see the finger coming right at the X, so I